What you are about to hear is highly classified. Pay attention and listen at all times. And most importantly, remember, never trust an alien that looks like Peter Dinklage. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now entering Zone 4. And welcome back to the Zone. I'm Brant Fowler.
I'm Gordon Domowski.
I'm Mike Luoma.
And I'm Captain Ron Fortier. And hey, welcome back to Zone 4, episode 268 this week. Always glad to have you here. And as you noticed, we're rotating casting as is our new policy these days. But before we get too much further on that, the agenda reads a self-reminder, Brand. So why don't you take it?
Sure thing. We do want to mention that we are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. You can find us every Friday over on comicspodcasts.com with a bunch of other shows, including several other comic-related shows. Lots of great content over there, so find us over there if you don't find us anywhere else, and listen to all the other stuff while you're there, too.
What he said.
Yeah.
Sponsor of the week.
And also, we do have we have a couple of sponsors this week, but our first sponsor is, of course, Audible.com. If you go to audibletrial.com/zone4podcast, you can get a free 30-day trial and a free book download, and you can help the show by doing that. Even if you don't continue past the 30 days, it does help the show. So if you want to support it for free with no effort and you get something for yourself in the process, then try out Audible.
My God, this is a win-win for you.
Exactly.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Can't lose.
Yeah, we do this every week, people. We give you prime comic and television entertainment. Can't for once you do something for us? Why can't you show us the love?
Nice.
That's not what
Would
your
it kill
podcast can do for you, but what can you do for your podcast?
And you know, when you're picking up that free book, since we're being self-serving, you could always get Alibi Jones narrated by me. So
There you go.
Yeah, or Captain Hazard, Python Men of the Lost City.
there you go. Yes,
Read
absolutely.
by Joe Stopko. So yeah, two of our hosts are available at Audible. Come on, people, enjoy the fun.
Yeah. And also, I have no idea what this series is, but I was looking up something that ties into something we're talking about later. The Heroes of Olympus series is on there, so if anybody's fans of that, or Rick Riordan is the author. So, anyway, I don't know what it is, but hey.
I believe that's Riordan, and you're talking young adult series.
Okay.
So for our listeners, here's your assignment. Join Audible.com, listen to Heroes of Olympus, and email us a report so we can read it on the air.
There you go.
I think my nephew read those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're very popular.
Yeah.
Neat. I've actually never heard of them. So.
Well, that's because you're still a young adult.
Okay. Anyway.
It was great because he was telling me all about him, but I could not tell you what he was saying except, Uncle Mike, you know what happened?
There you go.
Nice. Let's see. All right. That doesn't tie into like the Percy Jackson stuff. That's something completely different, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a different series.
Okay.
He's read that too, though.
Okay. I actually like those movies, even though they were kind of a little bit on the cheesy back there. Yeah.
Segway!
Anyway, so this past Saturday was Free Comic Book Day, as it is every year, the first Saturday of May. I didn't get a chance to go anywhere. I know at least Ron did.
Oh, definitely. Are you kidding? Had a blast. I was invited with, I think, 6 other local creators here in Fort Collins, Colorado, to be guests at the Griffin's Games and Comic Shop here in town, owned and operated by Sherman and Leanna Sanders, really good friends of ours. Talk about a blowout. Oh, my God. I mean, their store, if you guys can imagine, sits like in this little mini mall, and it's at the back of like a horseshoe shape. So you have these other little stores that come around it, and you have this parking lot in the middle, right? And they literally, spent months going out and getting costume players and, role, guys who do sword fighting and all this good stuff, Oh, we're getting the echo today. That's cool. Hey, a little extra. Anyways, we get there. The shop opens at 10 o'clock for Free Comic Book Day. And we're set up inside in the back room from the main store itself. And the line is going around this mini mall like about 3 times, okay? And the second they opened the door and let the fans in, it was like nonstop all day long. It was insane. So that by the time we were wrapping up, and I don't think we left there until around 4:30 in the afternoon, and by the time we were wrapping up, I was talking to Sherman, like I said, the owner proprietor, and I said, this just keeps getting bigger every year. So he's telling me 2 years ago, they clocked in 600 people for Free Comic Book Day. Last year, that number went up to 900. And as he's telling me this, his clerk comes up from around the cash register with this little, counter thing he'd been clocking today. And they estimated they got in over 1,400 people.
Wow.
Last Saturday. So they're like increasing their turnout by almost 20 to 25% every year. It's insane.
That's awesome.
Speaks well for the comic trade, believe me, okay? Mm-hmm. I mean, Sherman was tickle pink, let me tell you. And like I said, saw a lot of college kids there, saw a lot of adults, saw a lot of, old friends and fans and whatever. But you have to wonder if, things are changing across the culture, especially with all the, the comic book movies coming out and every year. I mean, they just released Spider-Man 2, and we had Captain America, a little over a month ago. So that more and more people make a big to-do about Free Comic Book Day, which is great for the industry, for creators, and, hey, had a great day, had a ball. I want to extend my thanks to the Shermans for putting on such a great fun event, and for all the comic fans who came out. And while we're talking about Free Comic Book Day, I got to tell you guys this, because this to me was just again super what these retailers do out there. Okay, I think I've lost track of time. It's like maybe 30 some odd years ago, when I was still living in New Hampshire, southern New Hampshire. One of my close friends there was a young guy at that time, just in his early 20s, named Ralph DiBernardo. And Ralph put on a one-day comic show at the Portsmouth Traffic Circle in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And his 2 guests were 2 young local Dover creators named Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman. That was the birth of the Mutant Ninja Turtles. Well, today, Ralph is an entrepreneur, owns his own comic shop in the town of Rochester, New Hampshire, Jetpack Comics, giving these guys a shout-out. And so, because he was the guy who helped launch Turtles and these guys and that phenomenal success they had, apparently he was still talking with Kevin Eastman months ago, and the idea came across that Peter and Kevin hadn't been together at a comic event in over 10 years. Wow. So Ralph invited them both to be super guests at Free Comic Book Day, and they were there. So a little bit of comic book history in the making. I saw all kinds of newspaper articles from the local papers back home and showing these 2 guys standing there arm in arm, smiling at the camera. So there you go.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, definitely. Did you get any of the free comics, Ron?
They were all gone by the time I got to the table.
Like I said, I didn't get to go anywhere. I did actually get the DC ones as review copies, but Midtown Comics in New York, every year they put all the Free Comic Book Days titles on their online store, and all you have to do is pay shipping. And you can get like every single one of them, but they sell out really fast, so you're lucky.
Sure.
You're lucky to get any of them. This year, they added a handling fee, so I had like as many of them that were still in stock that I could get in my cart, and I went to check out, and I got to looking at the shipping fee or the shipping and handling fee now, and it's like $30. And I'm like, no.
Not so Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah, I was going to say, what part of free does that not work?
I mean, and that was for the 3 to 12 day shipping. It wasn't even for like next day or anything like that.
No. Yeah, or you'd think they would at least make the electronic versions free, because that way you wouldn't have to pay $30 shipping.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy.
Yeah, thanks a lot, comic shops. Thanks a lot for ruining the spirit of Free Comic Book Day.
So I was, yeah, they did. They ruined it, even. But no, I was like drastically cutting every unnecessary title just to back down to the bare minimum of the titles that I wanted, that I was really interested in checking out. And it was still like $10 shipping. I was like, forget it. I'm just not even interested anymore. So I didn't get any more. That's my story.
So what about you, Mike? Did you visit any local comic shop last Saturday?
You know, I didn't, and it's purely out of guilt because I haven't been to my local comic store in so long now that I know I've got a bunch of books built up, and I didn't want to walk in just on Free Comic Book Day because that I thought would just look bad.
Exactly.
So no,
that's
my
not
guilt
good
kept me
comic
away.
book etiquette. I get it.
No.
Right.
So I got to go in like in the next week or so and just take care of things. But yeah, I couldn't go in there on Free Comic Book Day. That would just be wrong.
Yeah, we only see you once a year, Mike.
What the heck?
It's like going to visit the family only on Christmas. Or only on your birthday.
What about you, Gordon? Visit any shop at all?
No, I was busy with the Joss Whedon event at DePaul, which was a lot of fun. And I don't know what was, the panel went well. We all did our, hooray for diversity, blah, blah, blah. Even though I kind of disagree with some of the things my colleagues said, but, hey, it's America. I don't know what's the bigger highlight. The writers panel where we talked with Cheryl Kane, who wrote the Firefly episode War Stories. It's the one where Wash and Mal are being tortured, and Wash thinks that Mal has the hots for Zoe. And it was done like a writer's room where we throw out ideas and we kind of riff on them.
Oh, cool.
I don't know what's the bigger highlight. That where she afterwards, after my participation, she said, "You've got some good ideas." Or the following panel, which was with Matt Irvine. And he worked for like about 40 years with BBC special effects. So things like Doctor Who, Blake 7, and he did a slideshow of things he had worked on. And like he'd say, okay, what Doctor Who story is this from? City of Death. I'd be the first one with my mouth open. And at one point he showed something from a 70s show, and I'm like, well, is that blah, blah, blah? No. And then he showed a screenshot from a classic 1957 serial called Quatermass in the Pit. What's this from? That's Quatermass in the Pit, 1957. Oh, you're good. So I was a second banana to a visual effects guy, and BBC visual effects, it literally is, they built stuff on the go. It wasn't like, here in the States where you can mass produce stuff. It really was kind of rough and ready. So I think those two are kind of my personal highlights, but no, I did not go to get to Free Comic Book Day. But since one of my best friends is a comic store owner, I'm sure that, he's got, hey, Gordon, did you pick up some free? No, he's always giving me, well, not always, but he gives me free comics on occasion. So I don't need to go to, for me, almost every day is Free Comic Book Day.
Awesome.
All right.
It's a fun event. I've actually only been to one Free Comic Book Day ever. So.
But, it's like we're talking, seeing this trend of the last almost 4 years now, like I said, at the shop here in town, and this increased activity and participation. And so people understand. I mean, some people could be listening to us going, well, how do the stores, benefit if they're just giving comics away free? Look, let me explain some things right now, okay? Number one, people just don't walk to a good comic shop, pick up a free comic, and turn around and walk out, all right? A good percentage of them stop and look at what else is available.
Right.
I mean, I had eyesight down through the shop at the cash register, and it never stopped, okay? People were buying and buying. And the proof in the pudding, guys, is like I said, I was one of like 6 creators, all right? There's myself, one other writer, and 4 artists. Now, the artists were doing sketches for money, were selling prints. The other writer had some of his comics on sales. I had some of my comics on sales, all right? It's one of the best single day of sales I've ever made any place.
Wow.
I mean, it was crazy. They'd go get their free comics, and then they'd turn around and come back through our tables and start looking. I was watching prints disappear. I was watching the guys do sketches. I mean, I was selling some of my pulp books. $15 a pop. Gone. I don't know how many copies I sold out. Never mind the Mr. Jigsaw books and Daughter Draft. Well, like I said, I mean, this is what happens. We get the whole point of the day is to get people into comic shops. And boy, I tell you, that's a great ripple effect, because once they're in there and they see all that's available to them in their local communities, I'm sure Sherman probably made another, maybe several hundred new customers now that are going to be loyal to his enterprise. That's a great thing.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know a lot of shops, for a free comic book day, they'll put on special sales and things like that to, drive business in too, to look at the other stuff, which, it's cool because it's a win-win, because fans get the stuff for discounted prices and the shops make a little bit of money. So
That's right. It's really becoming a national event. Mm-hmm. And, it gets bigger and bigger every year. So I'll be very curious to see if it works its way internationally. If in a year, a couple of years more, because, I mean, we've been doing this now for, over a decade maybe?
Yeah.
And so it'll be really curious to see if in the years ahead we don't see like a free comic book day events in foreign countries, that where comics are popular as well.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so
if anybody wants to invite the four of us to Free Comic Book Day in Tokyo, send us an email, please.
Right. And of course, plane tickets and accommodations.
Yeah, just the little things.
Just little things, yeah. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, we'll even do coach. We don't have to do first class. We'll do coach to Japan. That's not a problem.
As long as it stops over in Honolulu for a few days.
Nice. So should we talk about some headlines?
We should, yes.
All right.
Comic book headlines.
First up, Gotham was officially picked up for 13 episodes. They debuted two trailers. There was like a 40-second one, and then later on in the evening they added a full 2-minute trailer. Did you guys see these?
No.
Oh, yes.
No. Okay.
Yes.
Mike's like, I don't care.
Young Bruce Wayne, I'm familiar with the concept. But...
well, of course, yeah. So, all right, Gordon, what did you think of it?
I like the trailer. I'm still very trepidatious about the series. Mm-hmm. I know that in some of the groups that I kind of hang out in, there's still the, oh yeah, Fox are going to cancel it after 13 episodes like they did Almost Human.
Yep.
And I have to bite my tongue to say, dude, did you even bother watching Almost Human? It's weird because the trailer looks like it would make sense for the CW, mm-hmm. but I can see the CW mm-hmm. saying, well, we already have a show like that called Arrow.
Yeah.
So I think it works, but I just, with Fox and their history, and with what we've discussed before, I'm kind of like, I like it, but I'd have to see like the first episode or two before I'd say it's a hit.
Yeah, honestly, I liked the shorter trailer but more than the longer one. I thought it was cut better, and it made me interested. It was like, okay, this doesn't look that bad. And then I saw the extended one. It was like, yeah, some of those flaws are there. So, I don't know. I'm questionable about some of the casting too. Ron, what'd you think?
Well, let's put this like this. I mean, I saw the longer trailer, so I haven't seen the briefer teaser. Mm-hmm. I've seen the actual longer trailer, and I've seen it a couple times now. Now, my initial thought was, this is something I'm definitely going to watch. I mean, the first show or the second, unless it's a real lame duck.
Right.
I was excited by what I saw, but in the longer trailer, because we've been reading press releases that they've been parsing out. And, I have to agree with Gordon, because I think that was really insightful, Gordon. There was a CW feel to all this. Okay, I mean, it felt very much like Arrow. Mm-hmm. And like you, Fox has a bad record of not supporting or staying behind shows. I mean, the minute the ratings look like they're going to wobble, they just cut them. So that's the thing I'm leery about this thing. Even if it's a quality show, they better get some big numbers, because they're with the outfit that, as far as I'm concerned, is the most fickle network out there. And having said all that, I have one problem with this show, and again, the longer trailer brought it up, which is you meet Bruce Wayne, and he's this little kid. Now we've already been told, what's his name, Cobblebot, the Penguin is going to be there, and we said the joke, and they made rumors about the Joker, and then Selina, Catwoman, was going to be there, and all of them are older than he is. Now her by a few years, the others by many years, and then what did we see in the longer trailer? They're also bringing in the Riddler and Poison Ivy, and they're all older than he is. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that's what you do with television films. You do your own interpretations, guys, and I get that. But you know what? Everybody's older than Bruce Wayne. That's not the comic book character. I mean, Poison Ivy is at least his same age or younger. So's the Riddler. So's Selina. Blah blah blah. But we're getting Junior Bruce here. Everybody's older than he is. It's gonna be interesting to see how that works.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because if you look at timeline, most contracts for a series are either 5 to 7 years, and the producers have mentioned a 7-year arc. So the arc would end with Bruce becoming Batman, which means if he's like, let's skew young, 10 or 11 now, at 18, he becomes Batman. And that means, okay, so he goes to like Tibet and learns to be a detective while he's still in high school. I mean, that's kind of the concern I have, is I can see doing essentially Gotham Central on TV, which is what I think the show was presented as. I think when Fox said, hey, we'll pick this up, Fox said, okay, you need to make some tweaks, because you don't make the villains be older than your potential hero. You have them on the side, you throw in random references. You can tell a really good story with the cast of cops. I want to believe in this show. I'll give it an episode or two, but there's so much that doesn't look right with it that I don't want to slam it, but I also think, look where it's being shown. I mean, if it's the CW, I could see the CW giving it a chance, but I could also see where if the CW has Arrow and they're developing the Flash, they may not want a Batman show on their network.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still iffy on this. I have to see a couple episodes, like you guys. Like I said, some of the casting is questionable. Jada Pinkett Smith as the big bad villain in the show just worries me. The actor playing James Gordon, he's a good actor. I just don't see him as James Gordon. You have Donald Logue in there from Grounded for Life. He's a sitcom kind of guy, and I don't know. I'm very iffy on this show.
So what did you think, Mike?
Well, I didn't see it.
Yeah. What do you think of the concept of them doing it at all? Do you even care?
Well, I think that I'd give it a lot more of a chance than you guys are.
Okay.
Having not seen the trailer, it sounds like you guys are prejudging a lot.
That's fair.
I wonder how are they going to tweak that, because if they have older people as those villains, maybe they're setting up a legacy situation. I don't know. There's got to be some kind of twist that's going to be going on that allows for that to happen, or else it's just going to be really dumb. Mm-hmm. And entirely possible that it's going to be really dumb.
Well, because you know what I see, Mike. I have this vision in my head, because like Gordon talked about, timeline, and that's the thing. Okay, I mean, you're going to sit down and watch this, and basically what these television writers and producers do is basically tell all us comic people is just forget the comic books. And, it's not always easy to do. I mean, they did it with Smallville, they're doing it with Arrow, because they're not like the comic books. They're nowhere like the comic books. So that's what they're telling us now. Forget the comic books. But, this is Batman. I mean, this is 75 years old Batman, all right? And I'm like going, all right, well, say he goes through high school, sooner or later, he's got to get trained in this version if they don't want to, spend the bucks to have, overseas sets, which I doubt will ever happen. Maybe the martial arts masters will come to, Wayne Manor, and then the detectives will come to Wayne Manor, and he'll have all his home schooling, to become Batman. But still, he becomes Batman at even his early 20s, and Poison Ivy, Catwoman, Joker, Riddler are pushing 50.
You know what? I'm looking at the trailers now as we're talking. I'm looking at the visuals. Obviously, they don't look that old to me. They really don't.
Well, if he's 11 and they're in their even late 20s,
they don't look like they're in their 20s, Ron. I'm seeing kids. They look like they're
Yeah,
okay.
And I think that's probably where I'm getting a little of a weird vibe, because the actors may be in their early to mid 20s, but we don't know what their characters' ages are in the show.
Yeah.
And they're being kind of portrayed almost like adults, but that's why I'm willing to give it a chance, because it could easily be that these are all 17, 18-year-olds where, yes, there's still an age gap, but I think there might be that potential for either a legacy approach or even just a Batman's the young guy fighting the entrenched corruption as envisioned by these guys who were young and decided they don't want to be your traditional, mob boss. They want to dress up colorfully and be weird.
Yeah. Now, I know the actress playing Selena is not that much older than them. I mean, she's a teenager. I know that one. The other ones, I think Riddler looked older.
No, he didn't look that much older to me.
He didn't look that much older to you? Okay.
No. The only one who looks older is the Penguin, Cobblepot.
Right.
But yeah, but that character's always been skewed a little.
Yeah, exactly.
Old.
Sure. Yeah.
And so I don't have a problem with that. I don't know. As I look at it visually, it doesn't look that. I don't know. I'm not that put off by it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, understand, Mike. I mean, we're just talking about a trailer per se. Like I said, Gordon, and I don't think we're being overly negative at all. I think basically both Gordon and myself, and I think Bryan also, we're going to be there, when the first show airs.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Most likely the second and the third, and give it a shot.
You know what I think is...
Go ahead.
What I think is an accurate worry or a concern is that it's on Fox, and because it's a high-budget production, because it's a superhero show and it has a high budget, they are going to be as merciless as they ever are with the axe. So, yeah, that's my fear, is that you get involved in it and after 13 episodes, chop, done.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's the frustrating thing about, Firefly, and then just recently, as Gordon pointed out, we just lost Almost Human, which was just finding its legs and really, really being, a fun show to watch. It's gone. That's it. Bye-bye.
I'm aside from Arrow, I'm just generally concerned about DC in film and TV. It just, everything I hear just kind of makes me worry. But I'm the kind of person, I might be adding some prejudgment here, but I go in with an open mind and try to enjoy it for what it is, and then kind of make my final decision.
It's like we're all talking like we're all college guys worrying about, don't tell your lover yet, okay, because she might dump you first. It's like, because that's a reality with Fox.
Yeah.
And Mike's right. We're going to watch this thing, and in the back of our mind is going to be this thing, well, how invested do I get?
Yeah.
Where, oh boy, I love this show, and then it's gone. It's like, thanks a lot. I'd have felt a whole lot better if I'd have read, Fox picks up all 26 first season episodes. But even that heading, they okay 13.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that's not a real lucky number, guys. You know what I mean?
well, that's actually becoming the standard for a lot of networks.
Yep.
Is they'll do an initial order of 13, and then they'll pick up the jargon is. Yeah.
I think they did the same thing with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., actually.
Yeah. Yes, they did. Right, they did.
So.
Now, did they hire this guy to be Gordon because he looks like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, or what? I'm just looking at the still picture and I'm like, wow.
Well, the irony is the guy who plays Jim Gordon voiced Batman in the Batman Year One animated movie.
That's true.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's your Zone 4 fun fact of the day, kids.
And another comic connection, he was in a show called The OC, where his best friend was a comic geek. So.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
All right. So moving on from that, this is really non-news, but I thought I'd throw it in there anyway. Last week we mentioned that it was going around that the title of the new Star Wars movie was possibly The Order of the Jedi. Now this new rumor is going around that it's called The Ancient Fear.
I also heard The Ancient Threat.
Really? Okay.
Yep. So I don't know, there's a couple of them going around.
Yeah. So who knows?
Okay. So I mean, I'm not saying a word here yet because Mike, as a writer, I mean, The Ancient Fear. I mean, how do you grade that? I mean, just reaction.
Well, I have to be careful, Ron, because in my science fiction trilogy, the Vatican Assassin trilogy, I have the Ancient Enemy.
Yeah.
So having the Ancient Enemy, I've got to tread a little lightly.
There you go.
It was my first novels, but okay.
It's kind of weird being the seventh movie because at this point, as far as we know, because throw out all the expanded universe because we'll talk about that in a second, but you throw out all that, as far as we know, the Sith is gone. It's dead. So what is this Ancient Fear, if that's what they're calling it? Who knows?
Could just be a shooting title too, or it could be a Revenge of the Jedi, which never happened.
Right. Yeah.
Or it could be like a diversion because the title would somehow spoil it. Like, it could be Star Wars 7, The Death of Han Solo. Or Star Wars 7, Star Wars Episode 7, who cares? We're going to make a boatload of money anyway.
Yeah.
Star Wars 7 Ewok Stew.
Oh, I like the Ewoks.
Yub.
Oh, shoot.
Star Wars Episode 7, surprise, it's Jar Jar.
Oh, that would not go over well.
Jar Jar rules the universe.
That does.
And that's the Ancient Fear.
Yeah. Nicely said.
Okay.
But speaking of Star Wars, they have said that they are not building on the expanded universe. Those are no longer canon, which a lot of hardcore Star Wars fans that are invested in the novels are kind of upset over that. I've never read any of the novels, so it doesn't bother me. But I can understand. Go ahead, Mike.
I like what my brother said. He said, for me, everything after 1983 is non-canon.
Nice.
Now look, hey, I read that the news bit on this no longer canon, EWs, blah blah blah. I watched a video on it. They were talking, all these writers over the years have worked on the expanded universe in one form or another, from gaming to novels and whatever. Mm-hmm. So I'm reading the article, but then when I get into the middle of the article, that's not entirely true either. Because if you guys read the press release, some folks at Disney said, but we're going to cherry pick.
Yeah, they're borrowing.
It's like, we're going to use the Sisters of the Night. Well,
we might use stuff, they said,
Yeah, we're going to use this. That appeared in the game. We're going to use this. That appeared in the Clone Wars and a novel. So, diehard fans, can't really be saying, they're just getting rid of the entire extended universe. No, they're not. They will be using some elements, and that just makes sense.
Yeah.
I've got 5 words for them, okay? Splinter of the Mind's Eye. Come on, I read that when it came out, and it was really cool, and then they did nothing with it. It didn't fit the expanded universe. It didn't fit the Star Wars universe. It was just Alan Dean Foster's Star Wars novel.
Right, exactly. Because I picked that up, too. About, God, I think when it came out, within
79, 80.
Movies.
Yeah,
whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I was so eager to get anything else like you. I picked it up, read it, and then I went, where the hell does this fit in? So
yeah, and the thing that I don't get, obviously it started with the films, and then some writers just did their own stories and kind of expanded in their own take on what might happen and everything. But I'm thinking we all know, at least as comic fans, and even as fans of various novel series, that when you translate something to the screen, or vice versa, that things are different. You have to change things to fit that medium. And I don't understand why they would be that upset that, every word in all these novels isn't being used.
I think they're smart to do this now, to make this announcement, just so they can get those people to vent now, and then they shut up.
That's true.
Let's face it. Star Trek fans have dealt with novels being non-canon.
Mm-hmm.
Doctor Who fans have dealt with novels being non-canon. It's like, get over it, okay? It was there to serve a need. There was a point in time where it didn't look like there was going to be any more Star Wars.
Yeah.
Then we had that travesty known as episodes 1 through 3. Then there were more novels. At some point, you create spin-off media to fill a need, but now that it looks like there's actually going to be new Star Wars films and spin-off films and all sorts of stuff, it makes sense that, okay, guess what? It's not canon. And it's like, if you're that upset over a frickin' book, my suggestion is to take a deep breath, go outside, take a nap, and get over it.
Now, what I do find interesting, though, is there was a part in that said all the new Star Wars content going forward will be connected, and automatically I'm not thinking about the novels and the movies and everything. I'm thinking about Marvel getting the Star Wars license back, and I'm like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm skeptical about that, but we'll see what happens.
I think it's a question of percentages. When you talk to if you look at the broad number of people who call themselves Star Wars fans, most of them are movie fans.
Right.
The percentage of people that are into that expanded universe is a very small percentage of people who would identify themselves as Star Wars fans.
That's true. I would agree with that.
I think it's smart for them to say, look, we're not planning on following this, okay? Just want to let you know that now.
Yeah. And,
I mean, God, can you imagine hamstringing writers and directors for the new films?
Oh,
no.
If you had to use that entire expanded universe, I mean, come on, all right? I mean, you'd have 20 people working as continuity editors. Oh, no, you can't use that guy. That wasn't that planet. Oh, no, they don't need Lock Meat there, blah, 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 blah,
It'd be
blah.
a logistical nightmare.
Yeah. Okay, it's a space opera fantasy, people, okay? Go out there, have fun, and don't worry about ridiculous continuity. That's silly.
Yeah.
But somewhere out there, there's someone sitting at their computer converting their whole fan fiction novel into a screenplay and prepping to email it to Disney.
There you go.
That's true. Right. I would just be glad that they're using some of it. That's all, like Mike said. So.
Well, yeah. Well, they will. I mean, the mere fact that they brought back, these older actors to cast their roles to play them again. That's immediately evident. That was one of the first things they did. But again,
sorry, that made me happy.
So it's going to be so it's going to be really fun to see this first new film with these characters and supposedly, creating their own history of where they went after the original trilogy and watching that develop. But then we're going to get this whole new cast and the torch is going to be passed. And for no other reason, I like that whole aspect of that. I think that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just have to see. It comes out next year, so we'll have to see going forward. But I'm sure we'll have all kinds of more Star Wars stuff to talk about over this next year. So for now, moving on, the granddaughter of Bill Finger, co-creator, uncredited co-creator of Batman, is up in arms. She's not happy. She says her family's not okay with DC, and she's looking into what she can do going forward to get that credit that her deceased grandfather deserved. So, what do you guys think about this? Yeah.
I think that this story is one of the greatest travesties in comics. I mean, the Bill Finger story is just, I don't know, it's evil at work. Yeah. People depriving this guy of his credit, his due. The fact that, he died uncredited and penniless pretty much, this is just shameful.
Well, what bothers me the most about all of this, is not. It wasn't just done by the big bad company. It was
Bob
done
Kane.
with the okay with Bob Kane.
Yeah.
And then Kane has the nerve to say later, after Fingers is gone, "Oh, I wish I could go back 15 years and make it right."
That
well,
really bothered
it's
me.
too freaking late. All right.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That really bothered me.
Oh, I read that, and my steam was coming out of my ears. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and see, this is the reaction to this. To clarify for our listeners, this wasn't just random. There was a panel at, I think, WonderCon where they had the guy who wrote that horrible Black Bat series for Dynamite, another writer, and a representative from DC.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody asked out loud, "Hey, are you going to be giving Bill Finger credit?" The guy that wrote that really crappy Black Bat series for Dynamite, I can't remember his name and I don't really want to, kept his mouth shut. There's an awkward pause. The second guy said, "I don't know if I can say anything without getting fired." And the representative with DC is that, the Finger family is completely happy with their relationship with DC, which is what prompted all this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And, I'm in agreement with everyone here. Bill Finger actually got the finger. And I know there's going to be somebody out there who's going to complain that, oh, she's just going to sue for money because she's being greedy. And you know what? This isn't about greed. This is a guy who, Gotham, that series we just talked about like 10 minutes ago, most of the concepts were his. I mean,
he named it.
He named it. He created Commissioner Gordon. He was the guy who said, "No, we're going to put Batman in black and gray, not red with a domino mask." Finger did a lot of the actual donkey work around Batman. And if his family just wants, created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger, that is completely within their rights, and I hope they get a really good lawyer who really pushes this through just for the acknowledgement. Because if there's anybody who frickin' deserves it, sorry, Brad, I don't know if the bleep machine's working. If there's anyone who frickin' deserves credit, it's Bill Finger.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement on that.
Yep. I mean, it's just, and again, I think it still bugs me, okay? I mean, the whole concept of how he got screwed over, and again, by DC, but Kane's complicity in this, okay? I mean, I've worked in this business going on 35 years now, and one of the things about working in comics, and our listeners, should be well aware of, is it's really a team effort. For the most part, I mean, we're in a few minutes we're going to be reviewing a book that's pretty much a solo effort by pretty much a one shot superstar. But for the most part, all right, comics are a team effort between writers and artists, all right, and that demands, all right, some self-respect, some trust. You should have each other's backs. The whole goal should be what you're doing, what you're producing together as a team. And this isn't an isolated story. We've all heard other stories of teams who've created popular characters or series in comics and then been screwed over by the other part of the team, or have suddenly best of friends become arch enemies over ownership rights, which I find absolutely disgusting and pathetic. All right, look, if you're going to come into the comic field to be a creator, then get the fact that it's much more important that you save your soul, that you do so in an honorable manner, and that you do it crediting the people who worked with you. Yeah. But man, play the Bob Kane, me card, and you're the lowest form of life there is out there.
Do you guys know Ty Templeton, the artist?
Yes.
Yeah, he did a great thing back in January called Bat Tunes. What if Bob Kane had gone ahead and created Batman without Bill Finger? And it's all of Bob Kane's Batman ideas, which are very thin and few.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So if you go to Ty Templeton's WordPress page, you can see this. What if Bob Kane had gone ahead and created Batman without Bill Finger, or just put Ty Templeton, Bob Kane, and that'll take you to the site. But it's funny because
yes.
it's really bad. It's deliberately bad and good for that reason.
Yeah. Awesome. You know, I just hope that, like we all do, that their family somehow finds a way to get him at least the credit he deserves. I mean, this is Batman's 75th anniversary this year, and it's way past time for that. But anyway.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is that there was Darwin Cook wrote a Batman Beyond short that just came out within the last few months.
Yeah.
Which is actually, I think, a better tribute to what Bill Finger did than anything that DC is putting out right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's all the headlines we had, unless you guys saw anything else that caught your eye.
Nope, not really.
All right. Yeah, it's kind of a slow news week this week. We do have another sponsor.
Sponsor of the week.
Which is River City Comics Expo, Louisville, taking place in Louisville, Kentucky, this Saturday, May 10th, from, I believe it's 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Mid-City Mall on Bardstown Road. So if you guys are in the area, tri-state area, come down. It's completely free admission. It's run by John Wilson's wife. John Wilson, of course, one of the co-hosts of Zone 4, his wife Kim. And all proceeds from the convention go to the Fund for the Eyes, which promotes the independence and self-advocacy of blind and visually impaired individuals living in Jefferson County, Kentucky, from ages 3 to 21. Several creators, a lot of the comic-related families going to be there. And, so it's going to be a fun time. Go down, walk around the mall, talk to some artists, and buy some stuff, and have a good time and support a great cause. You can learn more. Yeah, you can learn more at rivercitycomicexpolouisville.weebly.com.
And tell John we sent you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
There you go. So we're going to do this review of Real Heroes all together, right? 1 and 2 together?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Very impressed with the book. Very impressed. But then again, I've been impressed with what Image has been doing lately anyways.
Yeah.
They got a lot of great creator-owned stuff.
They do. I mean, they're putting out like 6 new books at least every month.
Yep.
Who's that,
And like I said,
Image, actually.
Image, oh. Yeah, they're on a roll.
Yeah.
They are. Creator-owned stuff, oh my God. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So I got the feeling as I was reading these, though, that, like, if it was Hollywood, it would be, Marty, I got something for you here. It's The Avengers meets Galaxy Quest. All right, Marty? You got to see this.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much it, right? That's the sales pitch, no doubt.
Exactly.
That's the elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Now, if you were pitching it to a comic book guy, it would be, it's Avengers meets Galaxy Quest through Squadron Supreme.
Yeah.
Of course.
Or actually, it was probably Bryan Hitch saying, you know what, I want to draw a lot of celebrities in a book, but I also want to do superheroes. How can I do this?
I don't know. I think he's always used celebs as his kind of models, you know.
Oh,
'cause they're
yeah.
easy to find pictures
God.
of.
He's
so
the one
many,
that was...
So many artists do that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he was the one that did the Ultimates with Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, I believe.
Yeah. But I think that was a directive he got. I don't think that was him alone.
I can always remember meeting Joe Staten the first time when he created E-Man. And he told me, flat out, he modeled him after Roger Moore. Gil Kane, when he created the Silver Age Green Lantern. Paul Newman. I mean, artists do this.
Constantine was based on Sting.
Right. Yeah, artists do that. They like nothing better than to have some kind of photo references, headshots, and whatever to maintain some consistency in how the characters look from page to page. Right. And it's very few artists who can just envision something out of whole cloth that they've never seen before. And then again, that's impossible, isn't it, guys? Because you're surrounded by environment and people around you, the films you've seen, the TV you've seen. So it's not unusual. And I didn't see that overly prevalent in Hitch's work in these 2 issues. I saw some of it, but for the most part, I was really taken with the composition and all the art and the way he approached it. So, hey, let's get into the review.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we recording?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we're doing this now.
So, yeah, it's topic time.
Topic time.
It's topic time.
Why not?
Topic
time! Yes.
All right, so I'm actually going to leave all that in because it was really good and I don't want to lose it. I thought about tacking on at the end, but we'll just leave it here. So if you guys joined, you noticed that we kind of just came back to us in mid-conversation.
Comics, that's who we are. Okay.
Exactly, right. So if you haven't gathered this, we are going to be talking about Real Heroes number 1 and number 2, issues 1 and 2 from Image. This is written and illustrated by Bryan Hitch.
And Marty, let me tell you, it's the Avengers meets Galaxy.
Exactly.
And it doesn't have Tim Allen in it. That's the best thing.
No Tim Allen.
Yeah. So I'm actually
beautiful colors too. I mean, we should credit the Paul Neary inks, the Laura Martin colors.
Yeah.
Chris Eliopoulos on the letters. Come on.
Fantastic letter. I love Laura Martin's colors. You're absolutely right. Thank you.
So, I just like to see the whole team credited.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Always. There you go.
I didn't have it open in front of me at the moment, so I didn't.
Handily, I did.
And thank you.
It's we can all let's keep this informal. I mean, I open up the first issue of number 1 this morning, and I start reading it, and I've seen some of Hitch's work in the past, but not a lot of it. My comic collecting is way down from what it used to be, but I still collect about 20 titles a month. And so immediately upon opening, the first couple, the pages to this book and opening it, I'm floored by the artwork. Mm-hmm. And as Mike said, the production qualities as well. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is a really, really beautiful book. And so I start reading it and, scrolling along from page to page and sank into the story. The story nailed me immediately, and as we do with these reviews, we're going to give away a few spoilers, and talk about the plot points to a degree. Mike's sales pitch pretty much summed up a lot about what this begins as, and I love how that happens. It's basically a real ripoff of the Avengers movie, and what we talked about earlier in the show about this cultural shift in perceptions of comic book heroes and what comic movies have done to people and made people who would never even look at a comic book sideways suddenly becoming fans or of the TV shows and the movies. And so, yeah, Avengers was this huge thing. So as you start to read Real Heroes, it's like you're thrown immediately smack dab in the middle of a giant Avengers movie. But, okay, these are analogs. So if I may, his characters are the Patriot, the Olympian, Longbow, Velocity, Tiny Titan. Their enemy is a weird alien bug-headed guy called Brainchild. Again, it's like, whoa, what just happened here? I'm smack dab in Avengers 2, 3, or whatever, and you go for a good, 7-8 pages of this. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you're in a movie theater, and these are actors watching this. And I went, okay, that's interesting.
I like this because you think he's just employing all these cliches, and you're like, really? Yep. Really? Yep. Really? Right. Really? Yep. Oh, really? Yep. and then he turns it on its head, which is nice.
Yeah, pulls the rug right out from under all of us. And now we're seeing the actors. And I'm going, okay. This is and I like that. This is good storytelling. It's fun. So it keeps me hooked, and I don't want to just take over all of this. I'll let you guys jump in. But what happens by the end of the first issue, if I may, is literally some of the villainous features in the film actually are real, and attack the movie actors, which propels them, thanks to this mysterious guy who pops out of nowhere, into an alternate world, which is where issue 2 takes off from.
Yeah.
All right? And again, though, we're dealing with neurotic Hollywood types, and Hitch plays off of Downey's problems with drugs,
doesn't he?
And it's the celebrity and everything else brilliantly, I think, in defining these characters. I mean, they're just Hollywood actors who play a role. But suddenly they're in way over their heads, and I'll let the rest of you guys pick up from there.
Well, I'm thinking that still. I mean, that was a good description of things, but I really have a feeling that we're going to see things again turned on their heads in this alternate universe, because I have a feeling everything is not what they've been just told as they've arrived there.
I do too, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Towards the end, the mysterious gentleman in the key that teleports them. One of the crew or one of the team asked him, "Well, how come that other machine, the Devastator, got into our world if you're the only one with the key?" And I started saying, "Oh my God, is this Brainchild in disguise?"
That's what I thought. Yeah.
He's manipulating them, which okay. But of course, the book ends on this phenomenal cliffhanger.
That could have been better.
Or yeah, what if the really nice looking people are really the bad guys and the ugly looking people are really the good guys?
Yeah.
Star Trek's Mirror World. Here we go.
That could be.
So I mean, I just saw that as a possibility. I like this because I don't know what's going to happen. Right. And it started off with something that, he got me thinking, oh, he's just engaging in these cliches, 9/11 and then the superheroes, and it's like, oh, come on. And then it was like, oh, cool.
Yeah. That was my exact reaction. I was reading those first few pages and I saw the Twin Towers and I was like, really? And I mean, and then it just, like you said, it turned us on our head and I was like, oh, okay. So
what do you think, Gordon?
Oh, what do I think?
Uh-oh.
Hey.
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
Yes,
do you really, really, really want to know?
Absolutely.
Please, Gordon.
Okay, well, I did like it, but there's one thing I really did not like about it, which was I thought Hitch writes in that very decompressed style, and so the story it felt like it meandered a bit between both issues. I like the fact that, he starts it off with Avengers analogs, and it's 9/11 with alien invasions. I like that after he twists it, that yes, it's in the theater, these Hollywood types are talking about, the, quote, real heroes of 9/11. And I like the fact that he's, Mike has referred to Galaxy Quest. I think there's the promise of a little bit of personal redemption for many of the characters. I like the fact that although the Robert Downey Jr. character looks like Bradley Cooper, it reminds us that basically Robert Downey Jr. is only good when he plays arrogant douchebags. I like the way that there's a very sly humor in it as well, where like at one point someone says, "Hey, that alien looks like Peter Dinklage," and someone else says, "Peter Dinklage, I play poker with him." I did feel that there's a character who's a speedster, who's an African American. I think he's written, and I think there's room to grow in this. To me, he comes across as a little too stereotypy, but I think 2 issues in, they kind of want to do the typical, it's full of Hollywood stereotypes, like the woman who says, "Hey, this role allowed me to shrink 4 jean sizes or whatever."
Yeah.
So I think it's that. Yeah, it's a slight satirical edge that I think makes the book work. But I just think the pacing seemed a little sluggish. Where I want it to kind of get up, it's like at the end of the first issue. Like, I had no idea until the very end that where they were was the alternate world. I thought maybe they had fallen through into, like, a basement. And, again, it's not... I don't
know. I went for alternate world right away, so I don't know.
I like the book, but I just think I'm not a big fan of that decompressed storytelling. And I think there's a good issue and a half amongst these 2 issues, and I wish it'd been a little faster. But all in all, it was not a bad book. I just thought the pacing was a little off.
Well, I mean, I agree with you as far as that what you're talking about. Okay, the condensed writing style, and truth to tell, what I'm hoping to see, all right, because I really like these 2 issues a great deal. But we're only getting these quick, instamatic snapshots of who these people really are, right? These actors, who, their problems, their neuroses, their beliefs and whatever. And that's where I see tremendous potential for this story, all right? Because I like these characters enough and I'm curious enough about them now, all right, that I want to see them, what happens to them. I want to see their true core. Mm-hmm. I want to see who's going to be the coward, who's going to be the hero. What's this all about, okay? Who are these people for real that have just, been helter-skelter, thrown into this unimaginable adventure? And are they being manipulated, et cetera, et cetera? But I'm much more interested in their character, and I want to see that developed. I want to see that come a little bit more to the front. But again, the way he sets up his narrative and story, I understand why he used these two issues to do what he did. He's working on a grand scale. But again, I'll take that for so long. Eventually, these characters got to start becoming very real to me, and that's what I want to see happen.
Yeah.
That's not how I would write it. I'd write it a lot more compressed action, but
right.
I don't know. It's for the analog of what it is. It's kind of riffing on his own work on the Ultimates. It kind of fits that mold. So yeah. I wasn't as put off by that, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's the character, the Olympian, Mike. All right.
Right.
Which is what's tied to 9/11, and this whole concept of what heroism really is. Mm-hmm. So that even as an actor, he comes across as the more serious of the entire group.
Yep.
All right, and that self-awareness, that's what I want to see played up. We're given a little taste of it. I like that taste. I want to know more about that. And obviously, it has to happen as a counterpoint to the action around them. But is he really going to be that hero that he's always probably imagined himself to be?
Right.
No, I was kind of more addressing what Gordon was saying, though, about the action. I would have written it much more compressed. Like he said, it's more like an issue and a half. But then what I'm saying is that having it decompressed that way makes it mirror the stuff that it's kind of riffing on.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, totally.
Right. And you kind of want to, with a much more compressed action thing, like I can see the Robert Downey Jr. coke-addled patriot. I could see where he maybe actually pushed that, hey, look, maybe I'm not such a douchebag. Maybe there is a decent person inside of me. Or I was able to shrink 4 gene sizes. I'm in a situation where that's not as important. Maybe I need to be a more mature person. I mean, I want to hit, as much as I like slam bang big superhero action, I think there's some really good character moments that I think this whole decompressed thing, and again, like Mike said, it's riffing off his other stuff, but I think I want to get to the character stuff as well as the big punchy, and it just seems like the pacing, it's not even too much punchy or too much character. It's like there's a lot of slow moments in between, and you need to take those moments out. So, Brant, is this a continuing series or is it a limited series?
As far as I know, it's continuing.
Okay, because you kind of want to, you have a broad tapestry, and since it's a continuing series, you don't need to worry about being decompressed, so you can hit all those character beats. I just think the pacing could be a little bit tighter, because that way you tighten up the pacing, you get the best without the meandering bits.
Yeah. And that could be, I don't know how much writing Bryan Hitch has done in the past. I don't remember seeing anything that he's written before. So it could, you could chalk that part up to being his first experience in that side of things. I don't know.
But he does have, there's some fun, sarcastic humor in this thing as well, and it livens it up just when you need it to, because as you get to the end of that second book, there's all this, anxiety now of going home, right? This guy's going to let him use the key. And I'm reading this, okay? When you sit back and you take a breath and you go, okay, so you get these like 6 actors, that's all they are. They've been attacked by this phenomenal giant killing machine in Los Angeles in the middle of a premiere. They've been dumped into an alternate world where this guy has gotten them to do a propaganda piece to this alien villain. And now they're getting ready to go back home, and the girl who plays Tiny Titan goes, I can't wait to get home. My shoes are killing me. I'm like,
Yeah.
really? Really? That's your thought? Your shoes are killing you?
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
It shows how shallow she is. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd be in a corner, huddled someplace, quivering. You know what I'm saying?
I gotta say one thing though. For a character that shrinks and grows, I love the name Tiny Titan. That's a fantastic name. But I was impressed. Aside from all the points that you guys made, which I completely agree with, I was impressed that they use like real people's names and stuff. Because most of the time in comics and fiction in general, you have to alter that. And it was kind of interesting to see. Danny West was the Robert Downey Jr. character, and it was like Danny West and Carey Mulligan. It's like, okay, that's a real person. All right. I just thought that was interesting that they threw those real names and real instances in there like that. Kind of grounded it more for the reader.
Well, again, in my opinion, guys, I mean, I like this a lot. I think Hitch has got a winner on his hands. It's going to be something that I definitely want to pick up and follow through. And again, because I love it as a comic. I love the story. I was surprised by it. Like Mike said, I want to see what other surprises he has in store for us, because I honestly, don't really know where this is going and what he's going to do with it. And that's always fun and exciting. And it's gorgeous. So, I mean, good story, great art. What else can you want from a comic?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to reiterate what we've all already said, I love the fact that at first I was ready to write it off, and then they totally changed my mind and made me want to see what happened. So, I love it when the comics do that.
Hey, kudos to Image Comics, and they're really going out and getting some of the best creators in the business today to do their own books. If nothing else, that got me immediately when I finished. When I came to the end of book 2, guys, and I saw the ads for the books they're now carrying, the creator-owned books. I mean, one of my favorites these days is Velvet by Greg Brubaker. I absolutely love that thing. I think it's phenomenal. Image is doing some classy creator-owned comic books. More power to them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so that's our thoughts on those issues. I'm sure since we enjoyed these so much, we'll probably review further issues later on. So we'll see.
Yay! All right.
All right, so if there's nothing else, I guess all we have left to do is go around the table and see what everybody has coming up, coming out, and going on. Mike, we'll start with you.
Well, I'm going to be at Balticon. That's my next big thing. That's in just a couple weeks. It's happening in Baltimore, Maryland. It's the Baltimore Science Fiction Convention. Not to be confused with the Baltimore Comic Con. That's a little bit later on in the year. This is more of a kind of a literary science fiction sort of thing, and has a lot to do with podcasting too. So there's going to be a lot of podcasters there as well. And I've never done this one before, so it's going to be a whole new experience, but I'll be a guest and a panelist and talking about my books and handing out business cards that have the ability to get the Vatican Assassin free from it. So Balticon.org is their website to find out more. Brandon Sanderson is going to be the guest of honor, so it's going to be a pretty cool time, Memorial Day weekend.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, Gordon?
Okay, well, let's see, I just finished a really busy week, so I'm probably going to spend the next week or so sleeping and kind of getting some rest and relaxation, but I'm proud to say that hopefully in the next few months you'll be seeing some stories come out from that I wrote for Pro Se Productions, so keep an eye out for compilations such as Tall Pope, Pulpternative, and the and it's not about Bullwinkle, but the adventures of Moose and Squirrel. He's a hardened warrior. She's a steampunky sorceress, and they travel through time and beat people up.
Nice.
I just submitted final edits for my story in New World Navigation, which should be out in August. It's a little ditty I like to call When Angels Fall. And I am currently writing a story for Airship 27 Productions. What Ron does not know is I plan to just submit my manuscript is just going to be the word bacon written out 15,000 times, and I hope he'll go ahead.
We'll publish it. We'll publish it. Yes, totally.
Bacon.
Is it scratch and sniff? I don't know.
Oh,
you know,
man.
Ron, we need to talk about that. This really should be a scratch and sniff story. I think.
There you go. Right. Oh my God. Smell-a-rama. Here we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Oy. Are you done, Gordon, or is there more?
Yes, I am. I'm done.
Yeah, it's to you, Captain.
Okay. As I am not going to be here next week, as we were talking earlier before we started recording, I'm going to be back in New Hampshire visiting friends and relatives next week. One of the things I did want to talk about, and hopefully you'll see the press release pop up at Comic Related at the start of the week. But Airship 27 has a new pulp book coming out. Hopefully it'll be, like I said, released this coming weekend. And I'm obviously very excited about it because it's my character. It is, in fact, the third volume of Brother Bones, the Undead Avenger, a new collection of stories about the one-time former mobster who is now a avenging spirit for justice in the twisted, horrible city of Cape Noir. The collection has 5 new stories, and its subtitle is Brother Bones, Tapestry of Blood, and picks up exactly where the full-length novel we released last year, 6 Days of the Dragon, left off. It features 12 really, really wonderful interior illustrations by our art director, Rob Davis, and it has this really gorgeous painted cover by a South American artist named Patricio Cajabal. And again, Brant, I'll be sending you hopefully the press release for that, the JPEG of the cover and everything else before the weekend's out. So hopefully, like I said, look for that at Amazon.com by the start of next week. Initially as a hardcover, and then eventually it'll be available on Kindle. And that's what I've got going, guys.
Awesome. Very cool. All right, so Binary Gray number 7 is in the final stages. Hopefully it'll go to print maybe next week. We're just actually he's waiting on me to do one more thing to it so he can send it off to print. So I'll be doing that tonight. And so be on the lookout for that. And issue 8 is already probably about a third of the issue is already completely done. So that'll be out soon as well. Another book I lettered, Jackhammer, from Action Lab Entertainment, writer Brandon Barrows.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah.
He's a friend of mine. I mean, another fellow Vermonter up here. So.
Absolutely. And the trade for Jackhammer has been solicited. It's going to come out in July. So if you missed the individual issues, you can wait and pick up the trade in July. Pre-order that through previews, through your comic shop. Do it. Yes, I agree. And let me know what you think, actually. And let Brandon know. You know, he matters, too. He just wrote it. I mean, that's...
Yeah, that's all.
And coming up soon, one of the official bands of Zone 4, the Raywall Band, is releasing a brand new video to their Spider-Man song in honor of Amazing Spider-Man 2 coming out. There's going to be a feature interview on Comic Related along with the video once it's available, so be on the lookout for that very soon. And that's what I have going on. So, Mike, over to you to take us away.
Alrighty. We'd like to thank our sponsors once again, Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/Zone4Podcast for a free 30-day trial and book download. And River City Comic Expo, taking place May 10th. Learn more at rivercitycomicexpolouisville.weebly.com. And we'd like to thank the official bands of Zone 4, the Raywall Band, and Society's Plague that you hear on the show each and every week. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for us, send those to zone4@comicrelated.com. We are also a proud member of the Comic Related Podcast Network. And as always, thanks for listening. You are now leaving Zone 4.
Nicely done. All right. Bye, everybody.
Good night, all.
Yeah.
On a little thread, shooting spider webs from his hands on the street. streets of New York City, he steps out to make a stand. He's Spider-Man.
I've seen a picture of Bill Nichols.
Yeah. Oh, that's weird. There we go.
Okay. Well, the mystery guest, please sign in.
Skype. Curse you, Skype.
Hey.
There's
There we go.
Hello?
Gordon.
Hello.
Mike, hey, Mike.
Hi, Mike.
We got Mike and Lost Gordon.
Yeah. All right, we're doing the two-step now.
Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Hey, Gordon.
There's Gordon.
All right.
Hey, Mike. Yeah, I completely blame Brant for this one.
It's all my fault.
Actually, no, we should blame Bill Nichols, because technically I think he's like, oh, I'm going to get in on some of that Zone 4 action.
That's what it is, yeah. I totally agree. Yeah.
Mike, for some reason when I was trying to call Gordon up, it started to call Bill Nichols. I don't know why.
Poor Bill.
Yeah, I know.
Well, okay, Brant, here's an easy way to tell the difference between Bill Nichols and me. My name is not Bill Nichols.
Yeah, that would be I'm totally cutting that and just plugging that in for now.
As you should. The man's a professional.
I know.
Jeez.
That was a clean one. I didn't, mess around with it or anything.
I know. That's what I'm
Sweet. That
saying.
was really sweet.
This has been a Gonzo Goose production.